Good people, I hope you are well and winning. My name is Godfrey and I am joined. I'm joined by, guys, a chart topper. Come on, somebody. I'm joined by a prodigy. I'm joined by a multi-talented, multifaceted artist who's doing the works of the Lord, guys. His name is Patrick, aka P.Ush. And yeah, guys, I thought I should talk to this young man because Pane Nyaya, that's a new series that we started on Love on a Podcast. Welcome to Love on a Podcast, a platform where we talk about anything and everything to do with love. And I know that this man loves music, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, this man loves music. He breathes music. He lives music. He writes music. He performs music. Anything and everything to do with music, you'll find this man flourishing and thriving. So, my chat is that people don't care about what we love. I love music too, right? And I really think people don't care. But I don't know. Maybe he's going to prove me wrong today because that's what the conversation's about. That's what discussion is about today. Love on a podcast. Yes, we talk about what we love doing, what we love, who we love, why we love them. And today I want to talk about music. But I just really think people don't care.
They care, bruh. They care. Like, seriously, they do care.
How does that translate though? Because if we look at sure, if we look at show attendance, if we look at streaming numbers, if we look at sales, merchandise sales, and all of that, is it translating? Especially in this beloved country of ours called Zimbabwe. What's happening?
Okay. Let me tell you what I know about Zimbabwe. The thing is with Zimbabwe, we were not informed. Like, people don't know about the streaming sites and how this stuff works and how it benefits an artist. But then the care for the music is there.
Yeah.
You know, like, if someone releases music today or yesterday or whatever, the first place they look is YouTube, right? And it's good to have your music on YouTube, but then the bad thing is people then remove the music from YouTube and then they put it on their phone or they put it on a flash drive, you know. But then the care for the music is there because they actually have the time to look for it and try to download it off the internet. And then the streaming sites and then your stats are all messed up because now someone is listening to your music but you can't track it anymore, you know. But then the care for the music is there.
Okay, the care for the music, the care for the artist, is it there? Or it's more about, look, I love your music, right? And I want to access your music, but where I get it, how I get it, that doesn't matter. Because now you make money, if you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, artists make money through streaming revenue. They make money from merchandise sales. They make money from ad sales and whatever, ad reach and all of that. So now that kind of earning power is affected because people are pirating and they're concerned about the music, but maybe they're not particularly concerned about your well-being. Or now is it an awareness thing? Is it a knowledge thing? Please enlighten us on that.
I think for an artist, I think you're supposed to tell your fans, you know, not like demand and say, don't do this, don't download my music off of YouTube, but you tell them how it benefits you if they listen to it on Apple Music, if they listen to it on Spotify. Because apparently, if people, like the way people look for music on YouTube, if they did the same thing on Apple Music and Spotify, it would put Zimbabwean music on the map because it starts to trend on those streaming sites, and then that's how you then have Zim artists popping. That's what's happening with these Nigerian artists. And then now people saying, why isn't Zim music on the map when we're playing it in Zimbabwe and everything? But then we're playing it from YouTube. We remove the song from YouTube. We're not using it on streaming sites. So yeah.
So it comes from a place of knowledge, awareness. Because I worry that given the circumstances, right? Take Zimbabwe, for example. If I, as an artist, am perhaps my model, for example, let's say, would be that I make most of my money from live shows.
Yeah.
Right? Where I get into studio, I spend hundreds of US dollars producing and creating this music, but most of my returns will come from shows where people pay for tickets to enter, etc., etc. Then maybe I can also have merchandise there. The unfortunate thing is that the economy, the industry, and structures, I don't think they provide an environment that allows people to care the way that they should, that would benefit them and us. Now, it manifests in this way, I think, or it unfolds in this kind of way, where you see, if I say my show is $10 to enter, you get, and obviously the benefit is perhaps an hour's set of music, right? $10. If you see someone akabata $10, the first thing they're thinking of is food and bills and what, right? So I think it's quite unfortunate that even if people care, I don't think conditions and the environment allows someone to express that care. Where, my guy, I see you're talented, I love your music, but shucks, I can't make it to your show, or shucks, I can't buy your music. What would you say to that?
I think it's the way that the music industry or music as in general has been portrayed in Zimbabwe. You can see it even with parents. You know, if you tell your parents that, oh, I wanna
That's a chat.
make,
Pane Nyaya,
I
Papa.
wanna, if you tell your parents that I want to make music, you know, they probably know you have the gift, but then they don't believe in you enough to let you do it. You know, they want you to stick to the general way of living life. You know, go to university, get a degree, go to work, get into the family business and whatever. But then in terms of what you believe in and what you know you can do, you know, without being average, you know, something that you know that if I did this, I would be on top. You know, I would actually be someone in this. They don't want that, you know. And the problem is that is spread throughout the whole country. So if it's coming from parents, there's no way that we're gonna have a group of other people from in this country that's gonna say, oh, we like music, we're gonna push this for the kids or for the culture or whatever. You know, if it's coming from the household, you know, even these people who have radio stations, if their own parents were saying, so music and there's marombe, there's no way that someone is then gonna say, oh, today I have $10 and I'm gonna go to see P.Ush before. You know, when their kid is going to school tomorrow and they need pocket money, it's gonna be like, I'm gonna give my kid the money. P.Ush can wait. I'll listen to his music on the radio. So I think that needs to be fixed. You know, like music also needs to be respected, because whether you like it or not, whether you see it as something that is beneficial or not, people actually need music. You know, that's why there's a radio in the car. You know, there's the view mirrors, there's the gear lever, there's whatever, there's the brakes. But then they put the radio. Why? Why did you put the radio in the car? Because you want to hear something whilst you're driving, because music is entertaining. So I think it's a very, very important thing. And once it's seen as something that is important in the country, that's when the country can then see it in a better light and people start sacrificing for it. You can see it in the western side of Earth. You know, like people actually are going for live shows right now. Even people got vaccinated to go for live shows, and that is crazy, bro. But then in Zimbabwe,
so I think then it doesn't translate. Unfortunately, when someone says I care about the artist or I'm a fan of so and so, unfortunately it doesn't translate because circumstances are dictating these things. In America, in South Africa, I mean, I have reference to South Africa because I'm based there, right? You have reference to Zimbabwe because you're based here. We're in Zimbabwe, by the way. Shout out, the motherland. The references present circumstances, and you'll find that each of these spaces have different cultures that breed certain types of action regarding art. So again, if you're in South Africa, someone is very happy to spend up to $30 to go for a live experience at a stadium or, you know, at somewhere in an auditorium. Heck, what's his name? Trevor Noah. This is comedy, of course, but I want to drive a point. Trevor Noah, he's been touring, right, in America, and I think even he's also had some legs in Europe. He has tickets. Jesus,
expensive,
dude. Those tickets are like $180. So someone is willing to part with 2,000 rands. Like, no, not even 2,000. It's like 2.5, 3,000
Yeah,
rands.
around there.
For a Povo ticket also. Can we just note that?
Just to go and laugh. Just to sit there and laugh.
Right? So, I mean, I could check this because Googleetu allows us to ask these questions. Googleetu is Dr. Google. Googleetu, if you missed the reference. But yeah, Trevor Noah tour. It's crazy, dude. Like, when I saw it, I was like, man, if you build a brand, that you can then present to people in a commercialized manner, right? People will buy into it. Firstly, people buy into your brand, and then people will buy your tickets. They buy from your brand. They buy off your brand, right? Which is testament to people just presenting what they value. I think that's another conversation to have, where what is valuable to the listener, what is valuable to the artist, because of course we value the art, we value the experience that we're presenting to people, and it's crazy, guys. It's crazy. Wait, Google it is letting me down here. But yeah, so hey, bro, how then can we? What part can we play in reshaping the culture to allow for people to connect with the art the way that we'd want them to?
From my point of view, I think an artist should take their work more seriously. You know, because in Zimbabwe, what I've seen is, as much as someone might call themselves a musician, you know, there's certain things that are missing from that aspect, where they just do things, you know, like they know there's no certain pattern as to how they do their things, you know. But then if you treat it with more grit and you actually show that this is who you are and you own it, you know, like when people see you, I'll give you an example of Ja Praiser. You know, the way Ja Praiser does these things, it's almost irresistible to not want to listen to his music or watch his music,
or to connect to his brand.
Yeah. You can see that this person is really well invested in his stuff. You know, like he loves what he does. You know, but then in with some musicians in Zimbabwe, you can see that this person is really doing this because they can, but then they're more interested in the money. So that lack of love for what you do can affect the art, you know, because if you love something, then there's gonna be another angle at which you attack what you're doing, and then it's more beautiful than when you're just doing it for the money. You know, so I think as a musician or as a creative in general, you should love what you do. If you don't love it, then don't do it, because it's going to affect everything for everybody else. You know?
And people pick up on these things. Bro.
They do.
I get, and I see it, how I see how it's affected by circumstance again, because if, let's say I'm not an artist this time, right? Patrick is doing music, it seems like fire, you know. The man is doing well, you know, he's getting traction, clout, what. I think I can also do it.
Exactly.
Right. So when it becomes a FOMO thing, right? When it becomes a keeping up with Patrick's, you know, kind of vibe, and you can tell, Godfrey, don't be funny. You know what I mean? Right. But that's also part of circumstance where I'm probably desperate for whatever I'm desperate for, whether it's attention, whether it's money, whether it's clout, and seeing that it's possible because you're doing it. It's a mess when I'm not trying to do it, because first, maybe I'm not apt in it, or I don't have the staying power to do it. So I could do something quite incredible, but is it sustainable? Probably not. Is it meaningful? Probably not. And that's a kick. No, man. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, guys. Like,
a lot.
Because if you're shaping culture, remember that there's a thing about spending culture as well. Convincing people to spend on your art is a mission.
I see it with my albums, you know, like I could spend, when I'm still in the marketing stage and and I'm trying to push my album, I can spend, I don't know, like 3 months or like 4 weeks just talking about my album, and then no one would even care. Like people just go on Instagram, they like the picture, but then they don't really care,
Yeah.
because it almost feels like I'm the only one who cares, and then people only start to care when they hear the music and they're like, oh, it's good, it's not bad, and then it's probably only for like one day, and then the next week or the next day they don't even care again, so I don't know what exactly humans want, like I really ask myself those questions, like what do these people want, like you can even ask questions on Instagram, like, because I had a point in my career where I stopped, like this year, I stopped working on an album. At that time, it was called Honestly P. That's the one that I
Yes.
then turned to Sunflowers and Brown
Yeah.
Hearts. And then I wanted to do singles, right? Then I released a single, and it didn't do what my music usually does, and I was demotivated. I was like, I'm not an artist who does singles. I'm an album artist, And then I come back and I announce an album, and it still feels like people don't care. And I'm like, what do you guys want? Like I gave you a single and you showed me that you didn't want a single. I'm back and I'm saying I'm doing an album and you still don't care. Like what exactly do you want me to do?
Yeah.
And then in other situations you see that people support someone who has clout. Like it's cool to support P.Ush. So we are all going to support him. But then even if your music is good, if it's not cool to support you, you will be on your own. You have like those 4 friends you went to high school with, and you have a couple of relatives, and then those are the only people who push your music. But then getting someone who doesn't even know you to catch onto your wave is really, really difficult. And I still don't have an answer to that question. Yukuti, what do these people really want? Like.
Yeah, I think so. That's even when I'm a brand strategist, marketer, like of things, right? And I deal I deal with a lot of communication facets of art, where you're trying to sell something, you're trying to connect with the buyer, right? And I've realized that in a lot of instances, people don't know what they want. Like, you find a lot of cases where, fine, if you see what Steve Jobs did, right? I'm not necessarily like a philosopher or some mind specialist, but partly of what I saw in what he was trying to achieve was answer user questions, right? So when he's saying to himself, I like my phone to be like this and work like this, and I'm sure a couple of million other people will like the same thing, right? So he wasn't trying to answer questions that may not be answered, because he can't speak to the millions of people he wants to reach, but at least he answered his own questions. And by answering his questions, millions of other people resonated with it.
Yeah.
Which is quite inexpensive, I would think. Because the time taken to engage millions of people to, one by one, what do you want in a phone or what do you want in a gadget would be unreasonable, not plausible, and whatever. So I think that's one way where if you're answering your own questions as an artist yourself, do I like my music? What do I like about my music? And then hope that a couple of thousands or even millions of other people like it. I don't know. It's one approach. Shout out to Steve Jobs. Because that man is a leader, was a leader. I don't know. It's one way to answer, but we will continue with this conversation in a moment. Yeah. So, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. I think if we need to be strategic, right? Being aware of the environment we are operating in, the climate of the market that we're trying to reach, right? Because then, that's the only way it can make sense, figuratively and literally, accounting for the pun there, right? SENSECENTS. For those that missed the wordplay over there, right? It needs to make sense at the end of the day. I mean, guys, if I tell you, hey, in fact, you might be aware, I think a couple of episodes back, I think. Yo, guys, I've got so many episodes. I don't even know what I was
Yeah,
saying.
you've been doing a lot of work. It's been a lot of work.
No, but I've mentioned that like I've spent thousands of my US, right, producing music, and it needs to make sense at some point in some way where I see returns. But if I feel like people don't care enough to see those returns being materialized, it's gonna be tricky. But this young man is trying to convince me otherwise. So that's where we are. Like, how? I think we should get into the how. Can I teach you the Pane Nyaya? If we're saying there's a chat here, people don't care about art or music, what can we do about it? How can we go about it?
That's what I was saying, that an artist or a creative has to show that they love what they do, you know.
So that's one way of doing it, yeah.
And I also think that there are artists or creatives who don't engage with their fans, you know, like there's a couple of things that you can do to show that your fans matter.
Yeah.
You know, like there's this thing that I'm doing right now with my upcoming album, you know, like it doesn't necessarily mean that this person was with me at the studio. You know, like it could take a conversation. Like I'm talking to someone and I'm like, oh, I'm working on this album. It's about this, this, and that. And then they just give me like 4 words of advice. And I'm like, wow, that is amazing. This is going to help me with the album. And I made a list of those people who helped me, you know, like and affected me indirectly or directly when I was working on the album. And I feel like as a fan or as someone who enjoys something that a creative does, just to see that this person recognizes what I do for them or that I spend time listening to their music or watching their videos, you know, they're actually naming me, you know, my name, and they're saying thank you, Patrick Ushe, for helping me. And I think that's a really amazing thing, because then that fan is gonna recommend you to many other people, because they'll be like, oh, his music is good and he's friendly, you know, he cares about his fans. And that's a really good thing, because there's this thing where you blow up, and blowing up is good for a creative, because your content will then flow and it will be available to everybody, literally. But then there's a lot of flooding in your social media platforms, and then it's almost impossible for you to talk to your fans or engage with them. But then, like I'm saying, there are certain things that you can do that still show that you care about your fans, because for you to even blow up, it was your fans. It was your fans, because I've seen situations where you can be on Spotify or Apple Music and you click on an artist, an unknown artist, and their music is good, but nobody knows them, you know. And it only takes 1,000 fans who are consistent, and that person will be known worldwide. You know, like I used to listen to Burna Boy when he was literally just an artist from Nigeria. You know, when he did that song called Yo I Do, yo. Those days he was not famous, bro. He wasn't famous.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He was just an artist from Nigeria. And Burna Boy. Yeah, I listened to Burna Boy. Then you'd sing that song, Yo I Do, yo I Do, and then it takes that, like I'm saying, it takes 1,000 consistent fans or even more, and then just like that he blew up. You know, and it's like, we knew him, but then now we really, really know him, and now they call him the African giant or whatever. So you have to engage with your fans or the people who love what you do. I think it goes a long way with what happens after that, after you engage.
Yeah.
So,
I'm gonna double click on a word that you said as you were presenting that possible solution. Consistency, ladies and gentlemen. Consistency is key. I can testify to the fruits of consistency. We are here on this episode now because of consistency. And consistency doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily limited to you doing something continually or consistently. Of course, I'm trying to avoid redundancy, but I think it's also important to be consistent in how you present yourself. If you claim one thing and do another, then you're not being consistent in your character. For example, if you state to yourself if you tell yourself that you uphold a certain standard as an artist and you're actually doing something else, you are not being consistent in upholding that to yourself. So yeah, consistency is key. Like if we see each artist has contact points, right? We can contact Push. Push is an artist. We can contact him through his music, right? We can contact him through his merchandise, right? We can contact him through his social media. I'm going to put links in the description below somewhere, all right? Is there consistency? Is Push the same through his music? Is he the same in person? Is he the same online? Is he the same through his merchandise? Can you connect with the brand at every contact point? Consistency, I think that's important, because then people can then you build rapport, and then you develop a sense of trust from people where they can trust that if they have that $10, they can trust that it will be worth it because you are consistent. You consistently churn out quality. You consistently represent yourself across all your contact points. Yeah?
Yeah.
Are we together?
Yeah.
I must say, I'll say this with my chest. This man is consistent. Guys, this dude is 21 years old, guys. In fact, he's not even 21 yet.
I'm turning 21.
He's turning 21 and he's about to clock 5 albums. Do you know how insane that is? What were you doing when you were 21? I just want to ask. I'm going to knock on your doors and provoke you to hunger. No, for real. Consistency has been a thing that I've seen in his life. Guys, and this is 5 albums in 2 years?
Yeah.
There is a God. There is a God. So I get it. What he's saying is very much consistent with what he presents in his music. That's why I was very excited to have him on board. This is Patrick, aka Push. He's an artist who is about to clock 5 albums. Check out all his music, and it's very, very exciting. There's also his merchandise. It's nice, guys. It's actually really nice. Shame. I hope the camera will represent this very well.
You guys need to see this.
Yeah. Come on. So yeah. So I did say then, you've got an album coming out, right? Why should we care about your album? You see now, because today I'm knocking on doors, right? I've thought about this, guys. Pane Nyaya, if I'm saying there's a chat, something we need to talk about, I've thought about it. And I've really contemplated. But then, of course, I want to open it up to you guys, and also open it up to the guests. Why should we care? If I'm saying people don't care and you're trying to tell me people do, I want to know why we should care about your album. When is it coming out? What is happening? Why? Sunflowers and hearts, or hearts and sunflowers? Which
Sunflowers and brown hearts.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna break this down in stages. Okay, so in terms of sound, like sonically, I feel like this is something that I have always wanted to make, because for those other 4 albums, there was a lot of experimenting, trying to find my true sound. Because you find me singing Sungura today, tomorrow it's Afro pop, tomorrow it's something else. Like
You even did reggae, guys.
yeah, and reggae, and EDM. I've done everything. I've even tried to rap. So like, I've been on a journey of trying to find what I truly like, because I often have people come to me and say, oh, I really like this album, and then I just look at it and I'm like, there are 4 songs in there that I don't like, but I won't tell anybody, just be like, thank you. Thank you. But then deep down I'm like, yo, we did this because we're trying to reach a certain point where I'm like, oh, I love all the songs in this album. And sonically, I'm really happy with this album. Like from the first track to the last track, I love all the songs, and that is the most difficult thing for a musician, because you can make a song today and then you wake up tomorrow and you don't like it anymore. You're like, was that me singing? No, we need to change that. And even if after you change it, you still don't like it, So I think it's really amazing how I've had the albums to myself for like 2 weeks now, and I listen to it every day, and I still like it, which is amazing, and it's already been submitted. So now I can't change anything about it. Even if I wake up and I'm like, oh, I don't like track 3 anymore, it's too late. So that stage is done. Sonically, amazing. Okay, so the fact that I think sonically it's good, you should care. Okay.
You're catching on to the Steve Jobs.
Yes.
I care, so I'm sure you also
Yeah,
care.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sonically, I love it. Okay, and then the next stage is the content. My music. I'm a reflective artist. But my roots are like a Christian gospel artist. So what I did with this album is, I don't think it's been done before, and I hope it hasn't been done before, because when you hear it, you're going to notice that it's very different. So what I did was, I showed how a human is, or how the life of a Christian human being is. I wanted to show the personal life of someone, and then how it then goes into the spiritual way of things. So what I did was, there's two sides to this album. The first side is called Sunflowers, and this is the side that shows my personal life and whatever was going on and whatever I was saying about on the sunflower side. And then there's the brown heart side. So the sunflower side, I'm the sunflower, and the first song represents how healthy a sunflower will be. It's yellow, it's blooming, it's in the field, it's ready for you to go and take pictures of it and whatever, and then it starts to dry up, it starts to get frail, it starts to look ugly until it dies. And then when it dies, whenever something on the outside it doesn't look good anymore, people start to look within, like even when someone has done something bad, and they look bad and the media is painting them bad, people are like, there's still some good in him, and then that's when the brown heart starts, like the heart of the sunflower is brown to me, so I then put you into a world where you look inside me, and then inside me, that's when you find my relationship with God, and then you'll be shocked to see that my relationship with God is just as bad as what was happening on the outside, but then the good thing is, I then show you a journey where it goes from bad to good, so I don't want to give away too much, because then it'll be so obvious that this is exactly what we're gonna hear. So, because I have a problem of, when I'm explaining a song, I'll end up telling you the lyrics. So no, I'm not gonna like. I really want to keep it on the low with this album. I really want people to hear it and experience it. So yeah, content-wise, that is it. And then the songwriting. For me, songwriting has been a big thing for me. But then I feel like I reached a point where I almost felt like I was now repeating certain things, and people may not tell you, because they probably think that's what you want, or that's how you want to approach this album or approach this song. But then you can almost tell that, oh, I've sang this before, but in a different way. And I felt like, with 4 albums in such a short space of time, it's very easy to recycle your lyrics, and it's very dangerous. I did it, but it's very, very dangerous. And I'm really happy that I tried as hard as I could to not repeat myself. So what I did was, I reflected what exactly was happening in my life, and I didn't want to generalize, because once you do that, that's when you start picking ideas from the past, and you won't know it, because the new sound will blind you, like the new instrumental will make you think that this is new, but then you have sang the exact same thing before, even 3 times, but you won't know, and then that's when your fans will listen and be like, P.Ush is good, but then I don't know, it just feels like
It's the same thing.
yeah, it's the same thing, it's not going anywhere, So for me, with the songwriting on this one, even the way the execution, I don't know, I like.
Guys, this project is coming out on the 30th of October.
Yeah.
And I have a personal relationship with this man, And I've been bugabooing him about this project. I want to know things. I want to hear things. I want to connect because I care, right? I care. At least I care. At least one person cares, bro.
At least, at least.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And when you've been talking about the process, I'm very, very big on process. I think it will go a long way to inspire people to connect with a brand, with an artist and their art when they are fully aware of what is really going on beyond just what you can hear, beyond what you can see, right? If it's a video, if it's a painting, if it's some written text. If you go beyond and you take time to connect with the artist behind the art, I really do think you can't not care.
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah.
If we spend more time telling our stories as artists, I think we can inspire people to really buy into the art. I like where this is going. I like where this is going. So, yo, people don't care. But actually they do. If we do this, if we do that, if we say this, if we say that. Should we also then be wary of who exactly we want to care? Or do we want to spread the blanket across the board? I want you to think on that as we take another break.
All right, I'll be thinking about it. I'll think about it.
Sir, have you thought about your response?
Yes, I have. I've thought about it. And the first thing I'll say is, even without the caring word in the picture, I think you can't impress everybody. You can't make everybody happy.
Bars.
Yeah, that's the first thing we should take note of. You can't impress everybody, you know. So I think you should have a target market for whatever you do. You know, you should always have a target market, and you should satisfy those people first before you start worrying about what is everybody, you know, like generalizing everyone. What are they saying, you know? So yeah, that's what I'll say. That you should have people that you know that no matter what, these are the people that I really really want to care about my stuff, about my content, and then it will be a bonus if you then have everyone caring about your content.
That's a brilliant response. This young man who is wiser than he than he looks. You know, he thinks beyond his years, ladies and gentlemen. Target market. Who's your target market? You made me think of the 80-20 rule. Have you heard of that? That if you have a company and your employees make 100% of the personnel, you usually get 20% that do 80% of the work. Or if you look at your clientele or your customer base or your fans, you'll find that those that really carry you as an artist is actually only 20%. So if you have a consistent streaming figure of 10,000 people on a monthly basis, it doesn't mean you have 10,000 fans. It may mean that you have 2,000
Who just stream music a lot.
who just stream your music a lot.
Yeah.
So identifying that 20% is integral for anyone, for you, for me, in your community of family and friends. The people that really show up for you, it's actually only 20%. Yeah, and being able to identify those people and serve them really carries you. Thoughts on that? I'm sure that I see that it surprised you quite.
Yeah, it did. It did. I hadn't thought of that. And I think there are a lot of people who don't put that into consideration. Like, no one is trying to find their target market. And I think when your goal is to just put out your content without having a target market, is you will be disappointed when you see that the people you were trying to affect, this large number, or I hope 100,000 people play my album and then you only get 150, you'll be disappointed. So if you have a target market and it probably has 150 people that lead you to 1,500 streams. If you get those, then your target has been met. And now everything that comes after that is now a bonus and you won't be disappointed. So I think this rule that you've just introduced me to is very, very important.
Identify your target market, ladies and gentlemen. Otherwise, I think you may end up wasting resources.
Yeah.
If you're just spending money on ads and sponsored posts to people that really don't care.
Yeah. Because even when you are on Instagram, I'm sure you've seen ads of other creatives promoting their stuff and you're just like, you scroll up, you don't even open it, so if you know the people you're trying to affect, they will definitely open that and they will follow through with whatever the ad is going to take them to, so yeah, it's very important to have a target market.
Yeah, no, so closing remarks, because this conversation, and I have a feeling we're going to get into it another time when there's an opportunity, just speaking about how, that connection between the art and the artist, that connection as well between those two and the audience, right? It's a AAA effect going on there. Artist, art, audience. There are quite a lot of disparities when circumstance comes into the equation, when situations or expenses, spending culture, climate, environment, industry all need to be factored in. Yeah, there's a lot to think about where you just need to apply yourself accordingly as you determine what your goal is, right? Because then when I say, let me speak for myself, when I say people don't care, it may be short-sighted in a particular context. It may be inaccurate in a particular market, right? Because we know that in music there's the Zim market, or even if we zoom in more, there is the gospel music market.
Yeah.
So if we say gospel music lovers don't care, what do we mean? So even stuff like that, I think we need to unpack it more when we get into double clicking on things, zooming in on facets of the conversation. So just your thoughts on final thoughts on that. If we're saying people don't care, how can we change their mind? If we say people do care, how can we present value to them? Yeah, just closing thoughts.
I think there's situations where people don't care and an artist or a creative cannot actually do anything.
Yeah.
And there's certain things in where people should just care naturally, I think it's from seeing someone working really hard on something. The nice thing for you to do, the ethical thing for you to do is to care.
Yeah.
Is to really, really care, and it's not always supposed to be about, Godfrey should do something for me to start caring about, because it's now
It becomes transactions.
Yeah,
Transactional.
Yeah, I don't always have to do something for you to start caring about my stuff, because sometimes my content has to speak for itself. You could see my stuff and see that, this is worth my time, this is worth my money, because it's really good. Because it doesn't make sense for me to go into the studio and spend a whole week there, going there at 7:30 in the morning and then leaving at 7 in the evening, making a quality album, sacrificing, meeting a lot of people, collaborating, everything, going through all of that.
Yeah.
And then I release my album. Then you tell me again, then have to do more for you to then just press play. Bruh, that is a lot, and most of the times I'm exhausted. That's why some people didn't give up, because it's like, bruh, I've done all of this and people still don't care. Why should I even go on? So sometimes that's also why a creative should make good stuff, because if your stuff is good, then you have a lesser number of people resisting your stuff. So
yeah, that's really
yeah.
good. Yo, I was gonna pick on something else you said, but no, we will not do that. I want to allow people to digest what we've spoken about. We kind of went all over the place, but I think the base of the conversation has definitely been presented to you. And so I hope that you have had something to think about, right? When we talk about love on a podcast, it comes in it's multifaceted, right? We can talk about love, which is the wholehearted affection that you feel for someone, that you feel for something. In this case, we have this man who has a wholehearted affection for music, right? So that's love on a podcast. But we can also talk about love as we break it down in an acronym format, where if it's the lessons or losses, if it's the opportunities, if it's the victories and the exercise, I hope that you've picked it up, because he's talked about his process, right? What he's learned along the way. In fact, all the insights he's presented have been lessons that he's learned, and the sacrifices that he's had to make, right? Those are the losses. You lose out on time with other people. You lose out on having to spend your money on other things. Those are the losses, right? Opportunities, I'm sure you found multiple opportunities for you to express your love for your music. And you've celebrated milestones, right?
Yeah.
Victories, right? Those are the victories. Can I just say, Bazalwan, this man, yo, on Audio Mac, he has more than 100,000 plays. I checked. I don't know if you're aware, but I told you I care. Oh, that rhymed. Come on, somebody. I told you that I care about this man's art. And I saw on AudioMac, he has collectively, across all his projects, he has more than 100,000 plays. Did you ever think that you'd get there? Tens. 100,000. 100,000. 100K. Yo.
No.
That's wild. Do you believe that only 20,000 people have actually played your songs 100,000 times?
I don't believe any of it. It's almost, I don't know, like, ah. Bro.
This man is just.
When it comes to the results of my music,
It's God, eh?
yeah, I don't understand it.
Tense.
I don't.
But yeah, guys. So yes, that was the victory. This man has accomplished some insane milestones. I mean, having 5 albums on the decks in 2 years is actually a victory on its own. So shout out for that. But of course, he's had to apply himself and exercise a whole lot of discipline, resilience, self-control, focus, determination, endurance, perseverance. Yo, that's the E. That's the E, by the way. I mean, I could go on, right? That's the E in the love. The losses, the lessons that you got to take, the opportunities, the victory, and the exercise. So throughout this entire conversation, I hope you've picked those things up. Where can we find you, sir? This is your opportunity to make people care even more.
Okay.
By finding you on the socials. Where are you? Where's your music?
Okay. You found me here first.
Come
Live
on.
on a podcast. Okay. Now you're gonna get your phone. Okay. Go on Instagram, and then it's gonna be _P.Ush _, and you're gonna find my account, P.Ush, and then you're gonna follow, and then you're going to like my post.
Come on.
Okay. And then you're going to repost my album cover, which is the first post from my last post. Okay. And then you're gonna go on Twitter, and then you're gonna search official P.Ush Music ZW, and then you're gonna find my account, and then you're going to press follow. Okay, Facebook. I don't really understand Facebook anymore. That's really bad. You know, a lot of people have told me that that's really bad, but I'm working on it. Okay, but I'll fix that. So. And you can also find my music on Apple Music, on Spotify, on Tidal, on Deezer, on Audio Mac.
Google, YouTube, YouTube. He's got a Vivo channel. Check out his YouTube.
I have a video there. You can go on Breeze Acoustics. You can see my acoustic video for Control. That's a song that's gonna be on my new album. It's gonna be there, and it's going to sound way better on the album. It's gonna be track 7. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
Merch is $5. Okay, t-shirts come in black, brown, white, orange, yellow, green, pink, anything you want. Yes. And the album is coming out on the 30th of October. Okay? More announcements coming soon. Okay? Remember this haircut. this is my trademark.
Mm.
People call me the Avatar. I don't like it, but it's okay. You know, it's been pushed. One love. Sunflowers and brown eyes. You know what? The thing is, I'm looking at the camera and I can see myself. So sometimes I'm enjoying looking at myself and I don't know what to say anymore. That's why I was choping a lot. It's not that I don't know English. I passed my English with flying colors. I can speak in English, but just looking at myself and speaking is very difficult. Because I can look at myself and be like, oh, that's how I look. Wow, that is terrible. And then I choke. Okay, but anyways. Focus. Over to you, sir.
Oh, that was, guys, thank you for tuning in. It is your host with the most, Godfrey, aka Godfrey Taffy, on Love and a Podcast. And I thoroughly enjoyed my conversation with Patrick, aka P.Ush.
Thank you for having me.
Oh man, yeah, guys, you should care. Artists go through the most, right? And I understand if you don't, because you can't please everyone according to the wisdom of this young man. But I think it is important for us to connect. I hope that a lot of us as artists, we love what we do and we communicate that and people can connect with that. So yeah, that's it from me, guys. Love on the Podcast. Check you out on the next episode of Pane Nyaya. There's a chat. There's a conversation that needs to happen that will hopefully inspire people to do better in everything relating to love and relationships. Amen. Hallelujah. Deuces. Oh, wee! No, man, this was dope. This was dope.
Now you see why you enjoy this. This is fun.
It's fun, right?
This is fun.
You should tell your peoples that, yo, wait, let's go live. Let's see. You know the background song that plays on episodes. I don't even know if I'm singing correctly.